In this video, we are going to be looking at HTML links, which allow users to navigate from one page to the other or to perform some specific action, such as what we have here. If I should click on previous, it will take me to a particular page, whereas if I should click on next, it will take me to another page. So these are links that link different web pages together to form a website, or the link that will actually take a user out of the website and take the person to another website which another action can be performed on. So HTML link, which is hyperlink. HTML link are hyperlinks. You can click on a link and jump to another document. When you move the mouse over a link, the mouse arrow will turn into a little hand, as you can see here. So the cursor change, this cursor that I'm moving about, if I should hover over this link, the cursor changes to a little hand. So though you can actually style that also, but by default the color changes into a hand. So the HTML link is being achieved by using the a tag, which define a hyperlink. This is the syntax. You have a tag, then you have the href as an attribute, which will be holding the URL as its value. Then close the opening brackets, then we have the content, that is what will be displayed to the user on the website, and what we have here, which is the closing a tag. As you can see, this is the text that is actually displayed to the user, which is just next, but the URL is what we have beneath our code here, beneath our desktop here, where we have this file and the URL is being displayed here, as you can see on this side when I hover over the link. So that is about HTML link, which can be created using a tag. As you can see, let's look at an example. If we have h1, which is HTML link, then we have a paragraph which is holding a text, but in that paragraph we have a particular link that whenever a person click on this text that is in between the opening and closing a tag, then the person will be taken to another page. As you can see here, we have dot dot slash index.html, which is an index.html file in this program. But whether this is an absolute or relative URL, then we'll be looking at that when we get to that point. But what we should get familiar with is that for us to have a link, we need the a tag. Then in that a tag, we will now need an attribute which is known as href. Then this href, we have the value set to the location of where we are trying to take the person to, which is the URL. Then we close the opening tag. Then we have the content, which is the text that will be displayed in place of the link, in place of the URL that we type in here. Then we close the anchor tag, which is the a tag. Then we close our paragraph tag, as you can see here. So what we have here is just the text that is displayed, and when I hover over this, you can see that the cursor changes to a little hand, indicating that this is a link. And since I'm overing this, you see that the URL is displayed here, which is the point that this is actually pointing to. So if I should click on this, it will actually take me to this particular web page, which means a link points me to a particular web page on the web browser. So now let's look at some more example. By default, link will appear as follow in all browser. An unvisited link, that is link that you haven't visited, is underlined and is in blue color, whereas a visited link is underlined and purple, and an active link is underlined and red. That means if I'm actually on that link. So now we look at the target attribute, because the anchor tag, which is the a tag, also have the target, which is going to tell the browser where to display the link. So by default, the link page will be displayed in the current browser window. What it means is that if I should actually click on a particular link, it will not open a new tab like this. It will take this same tag, tab, it will take the user to another web page. So by that's by default. That's because none of these target attributes is set. So to change this, you must specify another target for the link, which is the target attribute specifies where to open the linked document. So the target attribute can have one of the following value, which is self, default, which is the default. Open the document in the same tab, as you can see, window or tab as it was clicked. When I clicked on any link, it's still on this same tab. But if I should set the target to blank, then it will open a new tab or a new window, such as opening directly like this, taking me to a new page or a new window, then which the file will be displayed there. Then here I have the parent, which opens the document in the parent frame, and I have the top here, which opens the document in the full body of the window. So we'll look at these two major ones, that is the self and the blank, in the course of our description. So here we have an example which also open that same W3 code that we see earlier. So it says if target is equal to blank, the link will open a new browser window or tab. So let's say the effect of this. Looking at my anchor tag, which is the href, then I'm having the target set to blank. If this target is not there by default, which is just like this, then it will be opening it on this same tab. So if I should click on this, nothing seems to happen, because look at this, it's open it in the same tab. But if I should come back here and run this code again and click on this, a new tab is open, which means it opened that page on a new tab. But that is not what I want to achieve. As you can see, if I should click on this again, it opened it on a new tab. But let's say for instance I take this out of my way by deleting what I have here, that is deleting the target or setting it to self. Then I run the code, then I open it. As you can see, it's still within this window or tab, but if it is set to blank, it will have to open a new window or tab. As you can see what the effect is here. So that I've illustrate how we can display this. So here we also have an absolute URL and a relative URL. Like I said earlier, we will be looking at whether a URL is absolute or not. So both example above are using absolute URL, that is a full web address in the href attribute. As you can see, this is complete web address, where to find the particular web page that I'm actually trying to render on the screen. That is an absolute URL. Whereas a local link, that is a link to a page within the same website, is specified with a relative URL without the HTTPS or www.path. So now here I have an h2 element together with the two paragraphs. Then I have another h2 element together with two paragraphs. So the effect of this is that this is having a complete URL, and whereas this is not having a complete URL, but it is referencing something that is in the same web site, that is different web page but in the same location. And here also I'm also working with the same web page, not complete website, and it is found in the same location. So if I should run this code and click on this absolute, it will take me to a new page, which is www.w3.org. whereas if I should click on this, it will take me to google.com. And if I should go back and click on this HTML image, it will take me to this part here, where I have HTML, that is HTML images dot, that is a material that talk on images. So if I should go back, if I should rerun this program and look at this .css, that is the HTML CSS tutorial. So if I should click on this, as you can see, it is relating to the same web site but different web page in the website. So if I should click on this, I'm still working within this, and as you can see, this is an incomplete URL without the HTTPS, whereas this is together with the HTTPS. So that is the difference between a relative and an absolute URL. So HTML link use an image as a link. I can also use an image as a link. How to achieve that is that I know that a tag is used to create a URL, right? A link. So I have the source, which is the location of that page, which is the default.html page. Then I put in an image in form of the text that I'm supposed to put in between. Let me cut this out, and as you can see, if I should just say this is hello, then there will be no problem. It will just be hello that will be here. Then I'll click on this, it will take me to what I'm actually trying to run. But if I should replace this with that code that was there earlier and run this program, it is now an image that is displayed, which means the content that will be displayed depends on the type of element or the content that you put in between the a tag. Here I'm putting an image tag that have the source of an image, which is smiley.gif, and the alternate text that will be displayed in case this image cannot be found, which is the HTML tutorial. Then I set the style attribute, that is setting the width and height to 42 pixels each. So if I should run this program, then this image is now taking place of that URL. So clicking on this image will also take me to the page that I'm actually trying to render. So now I move to link as an email address. So if I want to send or visit an email address, that is to use the mail to inside the href attribute, that is link to an email address. Use the mail to inside the href attribute to create a link that opens the user's email program to let them send a new email. As you can see, if I have this like this, I can just have this, that is to send this to a particular person, send mail. This is a link on its own, but this link is not actually just going to be visiting a website. What this mail to is actually doing for me before the email address is that it will open the user's Gmail app. Then it will enable this user to send a Gmail to the particular email that is given here. So using the mail to and this email address, it will open the email uh, software or app on the user's operating system, and it will send an email to the particular user. So as you can see here, I can just open this using the mail, or so that I will be able to send an email to this email address that is here. So here it is requesting that which program do I want to use in opening this email, which is not the case that I want to do now. So now I can also use link as a button. Here I have button as a link, which means I can have a button element. To use an HTML button as a link, you have to add some JavaScript code to this. So here I have JavaScript allow you to specify what happens at certain events, such as a click of a button. So we can see that in other subsequent video. Let's try this out, and we have a paragraph which says click the button to go to HTML tutorial. So yeah, I have button, then I have the onClick attribute, which means what should happen when a user actually click on this. What should happen is take the document, that is document.location, get the location, and reference that location to be what, default.html, which is the HTML tutorial. So if I should try to wipe this out by saying Control X. I wipe that out. Looking at this, the only difference is that um, the only difference will be in what it actually does when I click on this button. Right now it does nothing because what I have here is just to create a button with the text HTML tutorial. But if I should return what I have here, that is the onClick attribute that says okay, get the document, set the location to be default.html. Then I run this program. Then I come back here to click on HTML tutorial. We see that it references the person to the web page, which means JavaScript should be able to control the events that happen when a button is being clicked. So I can also use the onClick attribute to link, as link to for user to be able to navigate to another web page in the website. So now the link title, which is the title attribute, specify extra information about an element. The information is most often shown as a tulip. We have seen that in our second video where we look at the title attribute for the H1 and the P. So the title attribute just displays stuff in form of a tulip. We can see an example of that here where I over this. It says go to W3 school. So this is a tulip that is displayed when I over this, and that's just the use of the title attribute in our code. So because it display more information, we look at more on absolute URLs and relative URLs. So here we have a full URL to link a web page and link to a page located in the HTML folder. So this is a folder, then this is the HTML page that is linked to that. Then here I have an absolute URL. So that is about that, and link to a page located in the same folder at current page. Here it is located in a particular folder at current website, and here it is just located in the same folder at the folder as the current page. So in this video we have been able to look at the A element, which is used to link several web pages, and we have looked at the href attribute, which is used to define the address of that URL, and the target to define where to open the new document, and the image, which can be used to use inside the A element to display what the user will actually click on to view or to visit that URL. And we also have the mail tool, which is additional information in our href attribute, which define that the link that open a user email program. So that is about that, and we can also see several um, examples also when we visit the link colors and the bookmark. So here we have different colors for our link, which are some link we have um, for unvisited link. That is a new link that you haven't actually clicked on, is going to be underlined and in blue color, whereas the one that you have visited is underlined and is going to be purple in color, whereas the active link is going to be underlined and red in color. So you can change those color in CSS by giving your own specification. So here an unvisited link will be green with no underline, because I have said okay, text decoration, we set the underline property of a particular link to none, which means I don't want to have underline in a link, a new link, or a visited link. I only want to have underline, that is the text decoration that I have here in my link whenever I over that link. So a visited link will be pink with no underline, which means if I have a visited link that I've actually visited, the color to be pink. You know the default color is going to be set to purple, but now I'm overriding that and setting it to pink, whereas an active link will be yellow and underlined, which means if I have an active link like what I have here, is going to be yellow. The color is going to be yellow and underline. And in addition, when mousing over a link, that's when I over this, it will become red and underline. So the background color, like you see, is transparent. So that is not a big deal. We have already seen what we mean by that. The color is going to be red, right? Why is it red? Let's look at this. When is a link that is I have visited it, right? As you can see, it is pink, so it means this link has been visited before. Why is it like that? It's because it referenced me to, yes, this web page which I visited in the last video when I was trying to talk about link. So here we have this link to be visited. That is why the color is set to pink. But here I can adjust this and say, okay, I don't want the color to be set to pink. I want the color to be blue. So let's run this code, and you see that it's now blue because I have actually visited this URL. So if I over this URL, what should happen? The text decoration should be underlined. That means there should be an underline in it. That is it. When I over it, it should change the color to red and it should be underlined. And if the link is active, it has its own style also. And the reason why when I click on this, a new tab is open is because of this target attribute. Don't forget that, which is set to blank. If I don't want that to be the case, I can just set this to self, which will open that same URL in the same web page. So yeah, I have link buttons. A link can be a button also, can be styled as a button by using CSS. It is a link actually, but it's styled using CSS. As you can see here, I have a link that is a visited. What should happen is that set the background color to this and the color to white so that it will be visible, and also the padding, that is, give some padding, which 15 pixels is going to be at the top, then 25 pixels is going to be at the left right side. Then I have the text align to centralize the text. Then I have the text decoration set to none, that is, I don't want it to be underlined. Then the display should be inline block, which means a attribute, a element is an inline element, because if I have anything beside it, it will also the item will be displayed just beside the a element. So setting this to inline block means it is going to also remain an inline element but behave as a block element, which means the padding and the size can be set for that particular element. When we get to inline and block element, we will understand why I lay emphasis on saying when we have inline block, it means it will continue to behave as an inline element, but we'll be able to set padding, margin, and some other sizing for that particular element. Let's say, for instance, this remain an inline element. Then we run our code. As you can see, it is the space between this is now gone. But if I should take it back to what it was before, then I run the code, you see it is now displayed in a proper way of formatting. So that is about displaying a link as a button. So we move to this that says we can also have a tag, that is which describe a hyperlink. Then the next one, which is a link bookmap. This one is very common in most websites because we are much more familiar with it. Whenever we visit a website and we have a button just at the down corner here that says go back to top, which means it will take you to a particular point on that same web page, that is going back to a particular section in a web page. So to create a bookmap in HTML, bookmark can be useful if a web page is very long. Like I said, to create a bookmap, first create the bookmap, then add a link to it. When the link is clicked, the page will scroll down or up to the location with the bookmark. So now I come down here, I have an example that says use the id attribute to create a bookmark. So that is how to create a bookmark. I have an id attribute which is c4, that's for chapter 4. Then I have on another section of the page, I have a element that say okay, href c4, that is jump to a new chapter. So that's just a very simple way of having the bookmark as a link that reference to the same or some other section on our particular web page. So we can also have bookmark to a particular web page, that's another web page, to a particular section in another web page. So I have um, the the file name here, which is html demo.html. Then I have the section that I'm actually going to be creating. So to create a bookmark, as we see here, it says let's have a new web page such as bookmark.html. So I have this bookmark.html and I have my basic template by hitting enter here, and I have bookmark. So now in my body, I can have a p element that I have a random text there, which is lorem. I break that into several lines, and in let's say for instance I have an h1, or let's say an h2 element. Then in this h2 element I have chapter 1. Then in this h2 element I have the id attribute, that's I'm trying to create a bookmark here, and I say c1, that's for chapter 1. Then also again I have this paragraph text. Then I have chapter 2, so I have chapter 2 here. Then this is set to c2. Then here I have chapter 3, which this is set to c3. That is the bookmark. I've created the bookmark. Now I need a link that will take me to that particular different web page, like we see here. To get to jump from one place to another, we need an a tag that will be having the href attribute. Then how can we link to that particular section? We put the hashtag, then the id name. So I copy this and I move down to my code. I have my Ctrl V 3 times. So I come here, then I change this because I do not have this as my id. I only have c1, then I have c2, then here I have c3. So that will solve this, and I say jump to chapter 1. Yeah, jump to chapter 2 and jump to chapter 3. So this is what I have in my code there, and as you can see, I save my file and I go back to my folder here that I have this. Then this bookmark, I open it in my browser. So while I open this, as you can see here, I have several pages that I have to work with. It says jump to chapter 1, jump to chapter 2, and jump to chapter 3. And as you can see, these texts are displayed on the same line. I can adjust that by giving a line break on each line by saying okay. To give a line break, I just have the br tag, then I hit enter. I save this again and I refresh. As you can see now, they are now on different line because I've given a line break. Now to jump to chapter 3, I click on this, nothing actually seems to happen, and as you can see, the color of the URL have changed due to the fact that this chapter 3 is still on that same page, which means it hasn't gone down enough. But I can achieve that if I give this br tag, let's say br tag, and sorry about that, that's a typo. Then I have br up to 5. So I have 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, about 6 BR tag. Yeah, so I cut this because that's not where I actually want to put it. I want to put it in between different chapter. Then I paste it here. I paste it again to have it about 12 side. Then I paste it here also again. I save my file and I go back here to refresh my page. As you can see, this page now, they now have line break in between, so I can scroll down to have chapter 3, but I don't have to come down here to scroll again. I can just click on this to jump to chapter 3, and as you can see, I have my chapter 3 jumped to. So yeah, I can just increase the way this one go down by giving it 2 more. So if they are far from each other, that is if in the case that I have a very long page, if I have a very long page, then as you can see, this is a very long web page that goes down, way down, way down. So what I can just do in this case is to say, okay, if I want to view chapter 1, let's see, chapter 1 is the one that come up here now. So if I should go back up and I say, okay, I want to view chapter 2, chapter 2 is the one that comes. So it means it scroll down automatically on its own. So if I want to view chapter 3, I can just say, okay, chapter 3, and I have my chapter 3 on this side, which means if I'm in chapter 3, I can also see, okay, you're at the bottom of the page, right? So now let's jump to the top of the page by having A1, by having a tag, then setting the href to be an id, but this id I'm actually going to jump to chapter 1, which means I'm going to the top of the page. Or I can just have an h1 here that says page my story, okay, and h1 that says my story. Then this one should have an id also. I'm trying to create a bookmark here. You should have an id that is set to top. Now I have this, then I can go down here and say, okay, instead of referencing c1, reference top. That's take us to the top of the page. Then I save my program, I refresh, then going back up, I have my story that is displayed as the title, as the h1 element here. So if I should jump to chapter 1, I have it there. If I should jump to chapter 2, I have it there also. And if I should jump to chapter 3, there should be a link down here that I can use in accessing this, going back to up. But I actually haven't implemented that because I do not have any text that I input in this a tag here. So to do that, I can just say go back to top, go back to top, and it will be advisable to have this in your p tag. So I will just like to cut this and have my p tag, then I have my a tag in between. So I save this and I refresh my page, going back up, then I click on jump to chapter 3, and as you can see, now that I'm at the bottom of the page, I can now click this and say, okay, oh my god, I'm back to the top of the page. So that is just what this actually have to do, which is the bookmarking of a page. That's when you have to create a bookmark by creating an id element on that particular point or section that you are going to be referencing to, and linking to that using a element which will take you to that particular point of the web page. Thank you.